I'm sorry, this is Francis. Francis is my sous chef. Without Francis being here this year, or let's see, we've been working together for the last 5 or 6 years, life would be miserable for me here. Francis is one of the best sous chefs and one of the hardest working people I've ever known. And he actually has a great Francis is no slouch. He's worked. Francis, tell me your career. Tell me the background.
Went to culinary school in New Hampshire and worked in South Carolina and Charleston for a couple years. And then moved up here. We lived in Massachusetts for a few years. I've been working here for the past 10 years. Sorry. I've been here for the past 2.5.
Me and Francis actually ran a kitchen in Sag Harbor called Magnolia a couple of years back. I was the chef and he was my sous chef, and we had a really good time there. Gazpacho. Okay, I'm sure everybody's had the gazpacho here.
Yes, I love it.
All right, now, I mean, everybody makes it their own different ways. I mean, I'm not, okay, everybody knows her, the Barefoot Contessa. It's the best one I've tasted so far. So but you can finish it with tarragon, you can finish it with everything. Actually, people put a splash of vodka in it. They finish it any possible way they can. Okay, so basically, cucumbers. Those are the seedless ones. You can use regular cucumbers. I find them to be kind of like tough and mealy. And I cut them and I scoop the seeds out. And I do this in batches. I don't throw everything in there and hit the power. That's we do everything in batches. So we would do a little bit of this. You know, I gotta say, I wish that I could bring you guys into a kitchen, and we can actually cook in the kitchen, but it's about 120 degrees in there, and it's just, this is a little bit nicer, and that's why I'm going with all salads, because it's summery, and well, summer's almost over.
You can't put it in there with that.
I mean, you know, the rest, I mean, I'm sure you can. It really doesn't make a difference, but for some reason she has everything where it's like you pulse one, you put it aside, you pulse another one, you put it aside, then you mix everything together. I really don't see what the big deal is. You know, if you're really in a rush and you really don't want to do this and you don't want to do the cleanup afterwards, I'm sure you can just put it all together.
So then red pepper?
This is red peppers and red onions. Also, too, we're supposed to have, and what you're supposed to use Roma tomatoes.
Right.
Seeded. I use actually whole tomato, Italian tomatoes in a can. They're a little bit sweeter and they have the basil in it already. So I actually take the whole tomatoes and I seed them. And I take everything out and I'll use that instead. So you would finish...
The San Marzano?
Perfect, absolutely. So you would take all this and pulse all this. When I mean pulse, just off and just hit the thing. Okay, so as this was pulsing, you would stop it. You would add your tomato juice. You would add, she calls for white wine vinegar. I like using rice wine vinegar because it's a little bit on the sweet side and it'll take a little bit of bitterness out. So you would finish with that. Really good extra virgin olive oil, tomato juice, and then basically don't store it in anything that's metal because of the tomato juice and the tomatoes, the acid will react. And that's it. Let it sit for a day or two. Actually, 2 days is even better. Get all those flavors out, and then you just finish everything up with the julienne herbs. Like I'm sure when you cut cilantro and it turns black, it's because you're beating on it. You can't beat on it. It's one slice, one slice, one slice, one slice. You go the same direction. You work from the front to the back. You don't go front to the back, back to the front, sideways, because all you're doing is you probably 9 times out of 10 your knife will be dull, and you just bruise it. And that's when it turns black. If you just, all herbs, even chives, anything, you just slice it one direction. One direction, sour cream, okay? It is a little bit of lemon juice, just because to give it to you a little bit of a bite over here. And actually a little bit of milk, just a little bit of melted butter, okay?
Melted butter.
So,
let's taste it before we put it in. And I guess he whipped it, right?
Because I mean, basically people use buttermilk for this. I didn't have buttermilk at the time, so you kind of have to. What the hell is that?
A seagull.
We got 3 empty seats.
That was funny.
Here you go.
Take one. Stay at home.
Thank you.
Take one.
Thank you so much.
Take one.
Thank you.
Oh, we don't have to. Francis.
Actually, this is my own. Really not my own. Somebody taught me this salad about 20 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. I just like it. It's just really refreshing. Absolutely. The dressing is lemon juice. Okay. So this right here, this was 5 lemons. So if you're gonna make it for 2 people, two lemons is fine.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Shallot, freshly diced shallot.
Okay.
And then you're just going to use the salt and some pepper, and then extra virgin olive oil. And actually, and the same thing. You can put grilled peaches with it. You can put watermelon. I mean, it's basically whatever. It's something because this is so bitter. You can do the sweet and sour thing. It's no big deal to put.
So what do you do for watermelon? Do you have to mash it?
No. You take you just cut into slices.
Tell me when I
You
can
take
make
slices. Yeah, you can put strawberries in this. You can put blueberries in this. I was going to do this with grilled peaches. Same thing. I put cantaloupe in there. Any kind of melon you'd like. Like I said, the grilled peaches that's probably next week, I think. So, just like I said, it's whatever's really good balance of sweet and sour. And then plus the prosciutto's really small.
That was so good. Here, this is 2 weeks after they had bought the
Now
house.
we have a question.
They go down to Annapolis and they sail there. I'm so glad you invited us. We were looking forward to it so much.
No, I'm good, honey.
He goes out to San Diego.
You don't have some candy around here with more ice water?
And it was a lot of fun.
I would think, I don't know if it's, I'm sure it's flour based. Yeah, I would just think it's flour based. It's the same way, you know how you make the twirls, the cookie twirls? So I would basically think it's, they're made the same way.
Oh, when they're hot. Right. All right. We have to write that down.
What's in here? Cream cheese.
You have cream cheese. Yeah, basically I have everything you would find if you get salmon on bagel. That's what I basically based it on. So I put some chopped red onions, I put some capers, smoked salmon, smoked Norwegian salmon, a little bit of cream cheese, a little bit of fresh dill. And a food processor, and you just puree. Or you can chop it. Like I said, this is just. I mean, if you're having a dinner party, I'd recommend doing it this way because otherwise you have to find yourself a really small spoon, like an espresso spoon, and scoop everything. Base. We do the lobster cakes. We chop. We don't even run it through the food processor. Everything's chopped up. We add a little bit of red onion. We add a little bit of red pepper, a little bit of cucumber. A little bit of celery. Salt and pepper, we add some eggs and some breadcrumbs. And we try to keep it as simple as possible. You know what I mean? We don't want to, we don't add
Do you use breadcrumbs or panko?
I use panko crumbs that we blend.
Panko crumbs. It's a big difference. Yes. It's not as heavy.
And then we'll flour, egg, and breadcrumb them, and then we'll deep fry them just like a regular pop.
We'll come back. We'll come back.
You can actually you can pan sear them in a pan and then throw them in the oven. That's a little. I mean, if you're in a rush, that's a little time consuming. But if you're just cooking dinner at home, just a regular hot pan. You put a little spray pan in there, or whatever, and you just brown both sides, throw it in the oven. Everything's already cooked, so basically what you're doing is heating everything up. That's all. There's nothing complicated about what I do. I mean, you can just look at everything. We have mayonnaise.
Just don't put one.
I mean, my stuff is very simple. If I'm using any more than throw it out mayonnaise.
Oh, she remembers that it's all wonderful of that.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the one without mayonnaise first. And we actually roast them in the oven. We take our shallots. We put them in olive oil, put them in the oven, and roast them in there. They call it confit. It's kind of cooking.
Well, thank you. This is great.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Very much.
It's almost sorbet time, isn't it, Francis?
Yep. You ready?
Yes, let's go get them.
Back to your 140.
Stroller, and I say the kid, and me, kids. Okay, fine, I'll forgive it. And kids are running,
Any last questions about
picking up
anything?
something in the driveway.
Thank you.
Take care.